Hey, good morning and welcome to Hot Topic. This morning I want to thank again, once again, we have Senator Wil Castro in this morning, as well as Captain Tom Stambaugh from the Salvation Army Guam. And we'll be talking this morning, gentlemen, about, of course, the mobile office, because, we have a senator that's really out of the field almost every day, basically literally out of the field. And as a result of that, there's a marriage between, of course, the Salvation Army and Senator Wil Castro's office. So I'll give it to you guys. Welcome. Good morning, Senator and Captain.
Half a day, Senator and Ken. Thank you for having us back, or having me back with a partner out in the field. And you want to introduce yourself, Cap?
Yeah, I'm Captain Tom Stambaugh with Salvation Army here on Guam, and just here the other day, and we got to talking about our mobile office.
Sure.
And something was on my heart to do when we came to the island almost a year ago now, in July. To do mobile case management, which is to take our social services out into the public, because people have a hard time getting to us in Tejan, and so let's go out and do this where it's worked in other places. We just came from Sacramento, and we had a mobile case management program there. In the big city like Sacramento has bus systems and all that kind of stuff. Still, people have a hard time getting to us for services. So coming here, we've seen that same need, and we said, man, we really got to do something. And so we got our team together, and we were strategizing in how we can implement our mobile case management. And then I read Senator Castro's initiative to be out doing this mobile office. I thought, well, let's join up with him. He knows the island, and we can go to pockets and areas that we know would be good to do that. And it just worked out from there. It's been a great partnership so far. He has a great team that always helps set up and gets the word out. So we really appreciate.
So how's that work? I know the other day when you were on, in regards to pushing the event that's happening tonight, as a matter of fact, the Rock Aid, the 10th annual Rock Aid. But how's that working out? The folks that will come to Senator Castro's office or out in the field. I mean, they go from A through Z. I mean, you know that.
So I got an excellent. Well, it's a good example. I hope it's as good for Cap here, Captain Tom. You're right, Senator. So we are out in the field on the side of the road, anywhere from Humatek all the way up north to Back Road to Jigo to to Background. So there was one instance that the Cap, Salvation Army's team and our team were in Hagat, and we were just on the side of the road, and a single father with his two beautiful little girls came up, and he actually passed right by us and didn't know what to make of what was going on, and he took a chance and turned around. And his case was very moving. He has a beautiful daughter who remained unnamed, 7 years old, who goes through dialysis 3 times a day. He's a non-working single parent, and he was basically appealing to us for assistance. And thank goodness Captain Tom was there, and to lend a helping hand and an ear, and provided the necessary, gave us provisions, food provisions, that my team and I hand-delivered the very next day at their residence, in addition to clothing and some financial assistance. And so that was one instance where the Salvation Army's mission was being met by providing that direct humanitarian aid to a family in need. And you're also right. The Cap had the unrelated to humanitarian assistance. The captain is exposed to a lot of concerns, and sometimes he will step away, and sometimes I'll step away when people want his ear. And so we hear all kinds of things on the side of the road, from what I told you about medical needs to things like pay raises being discussed, or infrastructure challenges in the Plaza Gardens area, even to a bar owner, a former stripper who owns a bar, who had concerns about the 4 a.m. law changed to 2 a.m. and how she wants to know what the socioeconomic impact is upon society as a result of that restriction, because she's saying, Senator, in a nutshell, that didn't do anything for us except create an underground economy of bars and other establishments that are open way past 2 a.m. and even past 4 but without the necessary regulatory agency.
So she continued to strip after 2 o'clock.
She's no longer she no longer provides that kind of service, to my understanding.
Okay.
But I guess her point would be, you created an environment that is not regulated at all.
Sure. So what happens after 2? They'll just put a closed sign on the door. Business will continue. That's underground, so no taxes are paid after 2.
Well, you know what's interesting, right? Notwithstanding the label, the gentle lady was saying that there's a handful of those shop owners down there in the Tumon area who are actually quite responsible and in complete compliance with the law in terms of necessary security, checking identification, and so forth.
Sure.
But they're appalled that although they're responsible, they're the responsible group of folks down there, there are other establishment owners who choose to forsake the law and open past way. So I guess the point would be people are actually questioning existing policy.
Yeah. I mean, and then those are the things we're talking about. Policy, watch out the unintended consequences of policy, because it doesn't mean, okay, so we go out there and by law, we'll put a closed sign on the door, okay, and we'll turn that light off, but here, and we put the curtains down, and so now let's turn the other lights on because we're going to continue to do business. But after 2 o'clock, we no longer pay taxes. So all this after 2 o'clock is all tax-free.
And worse, you don't have the necessary security.
Absolutely.
You don't have the necessary liabilities that you should be responsible. Anyway, I'll just shift you. Go ahead.
Now let me ask you, Yap, in regards to the story he just told about the father and the family, the single father, I guess, whose a daughter was going through dialysis three times a day, and you provided the need, the urgent need that happened at the time. But how do we, because you're talking about the daughter, he's unemployed, the daughter goes through 3 times a day of dialysis, and there was some urgent need, of course, to eat. But what is the long-term fix for that? I mean, I understand you provided that, but and you can do that on a daily basis. But there's a long term. Obviously, what you provided will not at this point will not cease or to terminate the dialysis, the need for dialysis. There's probably a kidney that needs to be had and all that. So how do we find the permanent solution for that?
Right. Well, case management is always interesting, and we can throw out numbers to you how many people Salvation Army serve, but it's the stories behind those numbers that we are affected by every day. And we see a lot of cases like that that come to us, whether it's a person who has hit rock bottom because of their addiction and they need treatment, or it's a family coming to us because they literally don't have the means to survive at this time. And these stories are always heartwarming, but yet at the same time there's a need to be met. And really the long-term solution goes beyond a food bag.
Yeah.
It goes beyond a social service thing. It takes donors like the Salvation Army, fundraisers, to sustain them in a long-term period, not just a Band-Aid fix, but really kind of helping them in a social way.
For our TV viewers, we're going to be right back. Online viewers, we're going to continue on, of course, with radio. We'll be right back for TV. But so Captain, again, the long term, again with that. There's where the handoff
goes. Right on. I think Salvation Army has a pretty wide portfolio in the kind of services they provide to the general public. In that one case, I do know I can substantiate that the father was on subsidized public housing. He also gets subsidized medical assistance, and I forget which program.
The MIP?
I believe so. I think it's even beyond just MIP.
Okay.
And so they provide that necessary assistance for those needs. But the question is probably a little more local than it is relative to the NGO in terms of what kind of opportunities might this parent have to bring in a little more income than is provided through government assistance. And we haven't had that follow-up discussion. My door is open. He just wanted someone to talk to and some temporary reprieve, and we provided that. But it's not beyond any, and again, Senator, I don't think it's beyond any senator's required duty to listen and find a long-term solution locally if one is to be had, and that's why we do what we do.
Yeah. Now, Cap, again, the question is, you guys deal a lot, of course, with in the men's side, with addiction, right? Addiction with drug or alcohol, right? Now, the recidivism on that comes in, I mean, do you, how does the organization work, in regards to just, these people, this individual who has gone through this program twice before, and when are you going to get it together? I mean, do you at some point say, look, you've been through this program, twice before?
Right.
Right. I tell you, again, for our TV listeners, our viewers, we're going to take a quick break, but online, we're going to be... We're back. We're back. Okay, we're back. Actually, sorry about that. I'm getting confused here with the cameras and all that. But anyway, we are back. So, Cap, in regards to that recidivism, in regards to treatments that come to the program, what is that rate?
It's interesting. We talk to our clients a lot about, and in recovery ministry, we talk about people, places, and things. You just know in recovery you don't go to certain places, you don't hang out with certain people, and you just know you got to avoid the temptation to fall back into the trap of addiction. And the recovery community on Guam is very supportive, and I think it's important that people coming out of their addiction find good support systems, whether that's through family, their church, their faith, and their sponsor. But we do see people come back for requests to find treatment again. Maybe it didn't work the first time, or they didn't use all the tools. Because really that's all a treatment center can do, is offer tools to an individual. And it's up to them to use those tools. It's like all of us.
Okay.
We have human rights. We have things given to us.
Sure.
And it's using the God-given abilities that we all have to further ourselves. And so the same thing with recovery. We try to offer the tools for people. Okay.
I tell you, we've got a caller on line one that wants to chime in. So caller, please state your comment or question, and I'll have the senator or the captain answer it while we get you off there. Yeah, line one. Line one.
Yes, happy day, Senator.
Yes, go for it, brother.
This question goes to Captain of the Salvation Army.
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering if they could kind of like alter their one of their policies in reference to people who go up there to the food bank. I understand if they're repeat offenders and they come there every month, but if they're first-time people who come there, they shouldn't have to attend a workshop to remind them how incompetent they are because they don't know how to manage their budget or the bill. So unless you people, get rid of that policy, that's why a lot of people are too upset to go back there because of that type of policy that you guys have with the Salvation Army. I understand the good work that you guys do and everything, but a person shouldn't be made to feel like they're incompetent and they don't know how to manage their budget by attending a workshop.
Okay.
Like I said again, it's only for people that are repeat offenders that should go through that workshop.
Okay, thank you very much, Cap.
Well, we can certainly look at that as a case-by-case thing going forward, but what we've seen is that model has worked for a lot of people. Because a lot of times when they come to us through social services, it's not just the food they need, they also need help in getting themselves lined up with their financial matters.
And normally, when they come to addiction, I mean, their whole world has turned upside down, inside out.
Right. And not just addiction, but the social service side. People coming to us and learning how to budget your money wisely. So we can certainly look at that, but at the same time, we have seen success with people coming through and getting that resource to help them manage. And we have banks come in. Bank of Hawaii and other local banks come in and actually do the class. So the professionals that teach them how to do a family budget, organize their checkbook, and those things, it's really kind of a useful class versus something where it's kind of kind of a scary situation. It's really helpful for people to come in and actually get that resource.
And normally, again, when people get into this situation, again, their world's just turned upside down. And so it's not just whatever the situation is, addiction, whatever it may be that happens. It's not just getting over that. It's how now do you and you got these bills to pay because a lot of times bill collectors are knocking on your door as well.
So one of the experiences I had, I can share with Captain Tom, was when we were in Barragata. I know that he was assisting someone who was recovering, who's known to me, and I haven't gotten in full detail, but with the CAP, but I know he tries to help place people and give them the necessary opportunities to gain additional skills and experiences. So, let's go to the Humatec, the community-based fisheries management program we're attempting to establish down there. That would be an example, should this bill go through, where folks like Captain Tom and the Salvation Army can bring his clientele. And this program, is not just for persons of addiction. I would assume that because the humanitarian mission is central to everybody, it's open to anyone who's looking for an opportunity. So, in a nutshell, the Humatec community-based program we're attempting to establish could help folks at the Salvation Army assist our people with things like subsistence fishing and farming, opportunities for youth camp and recreation, also address hunger and homelessness if we were able to do this right. And I want to thank Mayor Bada, Johnny Kanata from Humatec for opening up his backyard, so to speak, to be able to embrace this bill that we introduced that would allow them to establish their own rules and regulations, of course going through the AAA process, but so that they can identify for themselves what the priorities are. If the priorities are going to be for recreation, fishing, commercial, use of their bays and reefs, or a combination thereof, but the key is to engage the community. And I'm looking at it from the preservation of traditional fishery knowledge and practice. Where I think the Captain and Salvation Army may benefit is to bring his people and others who are interested in participating in some or all of these programs that may be afforded as a result of this community-based program. So, the Salvation Army's portfolio, my goodness, I commend him. As a matter of fact, it's something, it's unfortunate she's not here, but his wife also serves in the Army with him, the Salvation Army.
Kim, right?
Yeah, and I was so impressed. I didn't even know that. She was with us the last couple times, and I was wondering, so when did you come here? Like, are you new, or did he just hire you? And she was, oh no, I've been with him for a long, long time. I'm his wife. And talk about, ministering together and serving a greater need together. That's really a love of passion, out of passion.
And actually, Captain, and you talk about, of course, Salvation Army, and for the folks who don't already know, Salvation Army also is faith-based. And so how does that work again when people come there and say, hey man, I'm not a believer and all that. So what does when they come in there and they say, I'm not a believer, man, I've been praying, and look at me now, look at me, all the praying I'm doing, look at my big cross, okay, and I'm wearing my puka shell and my bot chain with a big cross, but it doesn't work. So what?
Well, my belief, Jesus fed the 5,000 right with a loaf and 2 fishes, right. And I'm sure out of that 5,000, there's a few that didn't believe in his message, but he still fed them anyway. And I think the reality is that as a believer, as a Christian, as somebody who lives my faith out every day in my uniform, being in the community and representing the Salvation Army, is just that we can be faith-based and have a faith and love for the Lord, and do what we do out of compassion. And do what Scripture calls us to do, is to clothe those who have no clothes, and feed those that are hungry, and visit the widows and the orphans, and take care of people. And that's the biblical mandate for all of us. And there's no rule in there that says if they don't believe, they don't help them.
Those rules, those laws have not been amended.
Right. And I feel like if you're going to win anyone over to faith, it's going to come through a compassionate act. And not just kind of a rule. You have to do this, this, and this to be a believer.
And you find again that the fact that you're faith-based and a part of course, your programs are faith-based as well. Do you find as well that the folks are coming that some programs, alongside the problems that they came in with, that one of the very big missing components is the faith side?
Yes. And it's connecting those programs. They find it that way.
Just so you know, at every time we've been together, I've never heard him ask anybody under any condition what their religious affiliation was. Nor did I ask them about their party affiliation.
That's right. I mean, again, when he feeds the hungry and the needy, right? You ask them what their what their affiliation is, and that's right. When you're a senator, you may have an R at the back of your name, but you don't only serve people that are affiliated with one party or no affiliation at all, right? Anyway. For, again, our TV viewers, we're going to take a quick break. Online viewers, we're going to continue on. And, of course, radio listeners, we're going to continue on. So we're going to take a quick break for TV, and then we'll be back with that. But we're going to continue for online. So,
if I could say,
Yeah,
though,
sure.
I really appreciate Senator Will's energy to serve the community. I think one of the great things for us to align our mission with is that he has a great, tremendous energy to serve people, and you can see that by his initiative to do. I don't see any other senator doing what he's doing. And what it tells me is that he's somebody that wants to serve the people regardless of their affiliation, but really genuinely wants to make a difference. And so to share that mobile office with somebody that we have a kindred spirit in terms of serving the community, I think I couldn't think of a better person to align our organization up with than his team.
You know, I was hoping to keep it under wraps, but I want to share it with you, Senator. It came to me over the weekend. We're going to attempt next week because I'm going to now move into the farming side, right, in terms of assisting our farmers. I'm helping the fishers. And then we're going to open up, and hopefully, if I can afford it out of my paycheck, give out 100 watermelons. So Sandia, right?
Yeah.
Sandia di Finota. So if you want to pull over and talk policy or need some assistance, that's fine. But if you just want to try good local crop from our farmers, I'm hoping that we can provide that.
We're back, of course, the TV viewers, of course, with Senator Wil Castro and Captain Tom Stambaugh from the Salvation Army. And of course, we're talking about the mobile office, and you were saying again.
So you know, I was thinking, shout out to Director of Agriculture and his hardworking team, Matt Sablan and all those folks over there, and they had Mayfest, and they were highlighting a lot of the accomplishments and the actual fruits. There is a pun intended of their labor, in terms of fruits and vegetables, pun intended. And Joe Mockness and his team were there to assist and all the Aggies. But I took an idea from that and I said, you know what? Couldn't I make their fruits or vegetables available to the general public while I'm doing the mobile office? So I asked my partner, I said, sweetheart, what do you think if I made 100 watermelons available at the next mobile office next week? I got to get 100 watermelons if I can afford it. And then if you drive up, we'll give you a watermelon. You don't even have to say anything. You just stick out your hands and take it. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Number one, it's to promote product, local product, which is important for subsistence, with your ability to survive. And it's completely organic, right? At least that's going to be a condition of our purchasing and distribution. But in addition to that, it's good for food security. Do people know, for people to know that they don't have to drive up to your favorite fast food and get the same product that may have been imported. That in fact, it's abundant and it's out there if you just go out and get it. So I want to introduce, like, for example, Casey Castro's father is a farmer and he works really hard. He toils with his hands and his feet to sustain his family through this crop and provide a wonderful product for the people. So I'd like to patronize that. Or I understand there's a Mr. Leon Guerrero whose son is in our Monday night Gov Guam Bowling League, and his son said, please check my father-in-law. I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It's his father-in-law from Malolo, Mr. Leon Guerrero. And so I want to promote him as a farmer. And Mr. Wistick and so forth.
And actually, also one of our callers that calls a lot of times, the big Victor Duenas.
Oh, Mr. Duenas?
Yes. Victor Duenas, he grows watermelon as well. So
okay, we'll start with him then. Since he was the one through you, Senator, that got me to make sure we put up some signs down there in Alahan.
That's right.
That's the kind of talk that emerges from these mobile office opportunities, Captain. And the captain is well aware of that. And down the line, if I should, grow the spur. I'm a freshman senator. I'm learning my way. I'm going at this completely green. But if I could figure out better opportunities for farmers and fishers so that they can continue in that valuable trade, that valuable activity for food security and for the purposes of preserving our local knowledge and practice so we can stay alive in the event the shipping lanes cut off. I want to do that for them.
So, again, I'm not digressing, but I want to move forward a little bit with this. Captain, you have a big event tonight, so the TV viewers, this is going to go beyond that as well. But the Salvation Army will continue because this year you're celebrating your 25th anniversary here as well, right? But let's talk a little bit for the live stream viewers here that are watching today. Again, you have a big event happening tonight. Yes, your 10th annual, please.
10th annual Rock Aid down at the Hard Rock. Starts at 6 p.m. You can buy tickets at the door. Just come on in and have a good day. There's going to be food, entertainment, and again, all the monies go back to the programs we mentioned about our family social services and of course our Lighthouse Recovery Center. And it goes back into improving people's lives. So come out and have a good time. And if you like hard rock, if you enjoy that kind of music and that kind of thing like I do, certainly it's a great event for me. But it'll be a good time for people to come out.
As a matter of fact, unlike other organizations, all the money that you raise out here stays here, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you don't go. None of the money that you raise here goes to your national affiliation, right?
No. That's the nice thing about doing local fundraisers, and even in our Red Kettle campaign that we do in the holidays.
Yeah.
Is every dime that we raise stays local to go back into the community. So really, it's the Salvation Army's fundraisers are kind of a conduit from the donor to somebody in need to the point of whether that's a bed space at the LRC or if that's actual food being given out or a service being given. It's a conduit. So we encourage all the...
When you're looking at what you provide on an annual basis, and I guess if maybe let's carve out the feeding that you do for I guess Thanksgiving, okay? Just carve that. But on an annual basis, how many folks do you guys service? And then we'll include the feeding. So on an annual basis, what do you guys?
Throughout the year, the Salvation Army serves roughly about 10,000 people.
Okay, and that's excluding the feeding.
Yeah, that's not the meals we did at Thanksgiving. That's always a great event as well. But this is just people coming in and receiving food from us.
10,000 a year.
Roughly.
Yeah. 10,000. Wow. I mean, what's our population? About 160. 160. Wow.
And we put our 25th year information together, and over the 25 years the Salvation Army's been on Guam serving the local community, we have served enough people to go past the actual population of Guam. So that's a great feat for the Salvation Army to say.
Maybe twice over.
Yeah. So and so we're proud of that, and we're also glad that the community gives to us, because without their funds and without them writing checks to the Salvation Army, we couldn't do the work that we do. And of course, we do have grants to help us supplement our programs, but at the end of the day, it is a local supported.
Well, here's one of the questions I was asking you, and maybe you can help us out with this, because with the Trump administration, and I said I think there's a bittersweet that he's faith-based, because we know that President Trump is real big on faith-based organizations at this point, but we also know, on the other hand, that there's a lot of funding that's being cut off to organizations. Now, I don't know where they're going to be hurt and where they're going to gain. So in regards to the government side, what are we looking at in regards to budget cuts, federal budget cuts that will affect us here?
Right. Faith-based organizations and their participation in helping our people, whether it's in the United States or here, is central to the Republican platform. We know that NOAA and the environmental sciences will definitely take a hit, but we can advocate from our special angle here out in the Pacific Rim.
Oh, okay, and I know we're going to be leaving. Of course, thank you very much to our online viewers as well. Adios. You want to say goodbye to online streamers as well as for our TV folks. We want to again thank Captain Tom and Senator Wil, and maybe we'll continue on for just a little bit longer on because we're still live on radio to do that. But thank you again. Tune in next week again for more Hot Topic right here on ISLA 63 KUAM. So live streamers, adios, and for TV viewers, adios.